This time at the Quick Speed Shop, I'm putting the brakes on the front of the Model A hot rod shop truck. Alright, so I got one side installed. I'm doing a separate video on just the installation. Of course, anybody's searching for that just for a generic hot rod action. But this video is going to be specific to the Model A hot rod shop truck. To recap, I got an early Ford dropped, probably a 33 to 36 Ford front axle that's been dropped down here, which means that the axle is heated up and raised up to lower the front end of the truck. And this originally had hydraulic disc brake or hydraulic drum brakes on the front of it. I've taken those off and I've installed this disc brake kit, which you can get from Speedway Motors. But this kit uses an 11-inch rotor. It's got GM A-body calipers, I think 70, 77 to like 80, 88 or something like that. A-body, like Monte Carlo style calipers. A custom disc brake bracket that mounts to the back of the Ford steering arm spindle, and then bolts everything together and gives you modern hydraulic disc brakes on the front of your hot rod. So I've got the steering arm installed, I got this side all put together. Well, let's go back in time and I'll show you the steps, what you got to do, what the pieces are, and we'll put the front brakes on the Model A hot rod shop truck. I've got the steering arm on here all bolted down and all that with the new kingpin and bushings. I got my, this is installed. So the next thing we're going to do, install the disc brake brackets, or the caliper brackets I should say. Just simply slide this up here. Remember that the offset in these goes towards the inside of the vehicle. These cap screws are fine thread and they come with some nylock nuts. So go through like so. Now on the back side here, you take the nylock nuts here. I'll go ahead and I'll torque these down, and then we can slide the rotor onto here next. To put the rotor on here, got my rotor, got the inner bearing and the inner seal in it here. Can you see me? Here we go. I'm just going to slide this right up on here. Oh. Get the inner bearing in there. Here's the outer bearing. I've already packed these bearings of grease. Now the kit comes with a spacer here, space this out, and then there's a washer with a keeper here that goes in this little keyway slot, and then they give you a new castle nut. For now I'm going to use the old castle nut because it threads on here easier. Bam, look at that. Alright, so we bring in our caliper here, and it simply slides right in here just like that, right over the rotor. It's just that easy. Take the upper pin, the lower pin installed here. If your rubber pushes out like this one's attempting to do right here, just back it out. You can hold it with this little screwdriver. Oh, there it goes again. It's trying to push it. Get in there. There we go. That's pretty much it. It's just that easy. And the last thing to do is hook up your brake hose here. It simply bolts onto the bottom of the caliper. And then you've got your bleeder. You got your bleeder up top here. You go ahead and bleed the brakes just like normally, but it's pretty much that easy to install this disc brake kit. It goes right on here. Real functional, real simple, real nice. Okay, got my steering arm put on the other side of the axle, and before I put the rotor on, I'm actually going to take this side apart, and I've taped this one up. I'm going to paint the inside of the rotor and down in the vanes, and then the hub surface of the rotor here I'm going to paint black just so this doesn't turn into a ball of rust. I've turned the rotor black. Oh no, I painted the rotor surface too. Oh no, hold on a minute. What's this? Oh, aha, here we go. Woo! I was a little nervous. Bam, look at that. Boom. Bam, look at that. I'll tighten those down, but that installs the rotor on here, and the front brakes are all hooked up. Once I tighten the caliper down, I get the brake hose here. I'll put that back on, and then we'll be ready to rock and roll here. All right, I got the brake hose bolted on over here, and so the brake, everything's set up, and I actually attached the tie rod end back to the steering box. But what I want to do now is I want to slap, I got the wheels I ran on this truck originally. These are like a Chrysler, like a 70s Chrysler, I think they're 15x6 aluminum dish wheel. I got the same two on the back. It took me a long time to find a matching set. I actually never ran a full set on this truck when I had it on the road because I could only find these front two. And the rear I ran Dodge Diplomat cop car wheels. But now I got a full set. I found two in the junkyard, and I've had these since 2005. And actually I've got old Sears Wintermaster snow tires on them is what I ran from 2005, but they've been inside and they're still in good shape, so darn the date codes, I'm running them. What I want to do now is take the tires and the wheels and put them up on the rotors, set the truck down on the ground, and then I'm going to use the tape measure and measure across the tread, front and rear, and get the wheels squared up so I can get a rough idea of the tie rod length I need to order to get the tie rods made for this thing. Hopefully, can you see this? Yes, hopefully I can get the jack out front of the grill when it goes down. I go slow. Oh, oh, oh. Oh. Got the easy clearance grill shell. Oh boy, that's low. Man, that's down there. Look at that. Man, it's pretty low. Just about a fist off the ground at the bottom of the grill shell. That's about as far as you want to get down, because now it gets to be a real hazard in the roadway. You can see over here, oh, you're kind of looking through the steel pile. The wheels fit good around the rotors and everything. It looks good. This thing's right down on the ground. I'm 4.5 inches off the ground right now. It'll probably go down about another ½ inch as the rest of the weight gets put onto the sheet metal and stuff. And then the spring's probably also going to settle in a little bit. I'm going to have to be real careful about not smashing this thing on the ground. Oh look, I'm in the perfect pose for Scotty Kilmer. Ready? Here we go. Scotty Kilmer. Okay, so the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to measure across the tread of the tire on both the front and the back. And I'm going to try to get the line to be as parallel as possible to the ground. It's hard in the back because of the engine, but you don't want to be like measuring at 2 points way down by the same circumference. It'll throw your measurements off a little bit. So I'm just going to get a rough measurement now. And what I did is I measured from the wheel, from the center of the tire to the frame and the back on both sides with the tape parallel to the tire. And I've got the tires centered up so they're both looking straight ahead on the truck, equidistant. Now I'm just going to guess and see figure out what the toe is. Right now the toe is across the front. So I'm going to measure from the center, the outside of the center tread to the outside of the center tread on both the front and rear of the tire, and that'll give me a measurement. So right now I'm 56 1/4 on the front. I got to lay down and get under here. Swing the tape underneath as high as possible. And I grab the center of that tread over there. Okay, looks like I'm 57 here, so it's towed in 3/4 of an inch. Open the tire up 3/8 of an inch on each side. That should give me an equidistant number between the tires front and rear, and that'll give me a good place to start to measure across the steering arms. I'll measure from the eyelet to eyelet of the steering arm, and that'll give me a dimension to order up my tie rods from Speedway. Okay, so both wheels are towed in right now, which means they're narrower in the front than they are in the back. So I've got to steer them out, which will make my dimension on the back of my frame to the back of the tire less as I steer the tire out. This one I've got hooked up to the steering wheel already, so I'm just going to bump that just a hair out. That'll give me about 3/8. Let's see. Oh. Let's try that. So I should be 13 5/8 to the center of the tread. 13 and 5/8 right on the money. Holy moly. So I just got to butt this one 13 to 5/8 and then it should give me the correct dimension. Don't mind those stands, they're walking all over the place. 56 and 7/8 to the outside. I gotta remeasure this one. 56 and 7/8. Okay. So now the tires are perfectly toe zero. They got zero toe. So now I can go and I can measure between my steering arms and get an eyelet to eyelet dimension to order up my tie rod end. I had to tape the tape to the steering arm because it kept falling off. But now I can pull this across and I'm going to measure to the inside. From the outside to the inside. And it looks like I'm at 46. 46 and 1/8, give or take. So alright. Alright, so I'm at 46 and 1/8, so we'll say 46. That'll be close enough. That gives me my tie rod end, the full length tie rod all the way across the end. It gives me, I can measure it up in the Speedway catalog. You measure eyelet to eyelet, which is the dimension I got. So 46 I think is one of the standard lengths, so that'd be good. I'll measure that. Or I've got that recorded now, I'll write that down. And then I've just got to measure this drag link here, make sure my steering box is centered up, which it should be close to because I set it up that way before. But I'll make sure it's centered up lock to lock, and then I'll measure the tie rod or drag link from the pitman arm over to the steering arm, which actually steers both wheels. And I'll order both those up from Speedway. I've got this front end dialed in now, and I'm going to order those parts up, and as soon as they get here, I'll be able to install them, and then this thing will have functional steering, finished functional steering, and in the meantime, I'll start running the brake lines and getting all that stuff plumbed up, and then can bleed the brakes, and this thing will have functional brakes and functional steering, and I guess the next thing to do would be to fire the motor up. So, awesome progress today on the Model A Hot Rod Shop Truck. So, as always, thanks for watching. Please subscribe. I'm putting out new videos every Wednesday and Saturday. Hit the bell for alerts, tell your friends, and as always, we'll see you right back here at the Quick Speed Shop for more Model A Hot Rod Shop Truck action. Now with 4 tires and brakes.